Alright. Hey, I'm Aqua, or Aquarius of Fallen Snow if you don't know me. Welcome to this episode of the Shit Shootin Gallery Podcast. Happy to have you back if you've been here before. So, if you've seen the podcast before, you probably realize that this isn't my usual background, and you'd be correct. I'm actually up in Quebec right now visiting my family, and I'm currently in the sunroom recording the podcast. So my idea for content when I was coming up here was to start vlogging. Unfortunately, I didn't get a proper intro to it, and I more so started recording on our trip up. So I guess for all intents and purposes, this will be a podcast episode, but also kind of me narrating over the footage I had for what would have been the first vlog, and then you'll see a proper first vlog coming after this. So the reason for the trip was basically to bring some stuff up here from the apartment to make moving a bit easier, and so I had less stuff down in the apartment that I wasn't using, and then it would take up less space and there'd be less clutter, and then also to see my parents and to spend a bit of time with them, and then talk about the future, because as I was mentioning in the podcast a few episodes ago, because I haven't been working, I've been having some trouble being able to pay bills. So Julia and I have been talking about, well, what's next for us, and, if I can't pay bills, then it might be hard for us to stay together, to keep living together. So what might end up happening is I might move back up with my parents for a little bit, and she might live with one of her friends for a while. And then hopefully in that amount of time, I can start making some more money from my content, from my music and all that. So if you want to help and support, check my link tree in the bio and you can find all my music, or check out the YouTube channel and subscribe, not only to help build the community, but so you don't miss any of the videos that come out in the future. It could be the next episode of the podcast. I should have a vlog coming out soon. At this point, the possibilities are endless, so stick around for the ride. We just hit 40 subscribers, so thank you to everybody who subscribed. Thank you to everybody in the future who will see this and subscribe. I really appreciate it. It means a ton. But yeah, I was feeling a bit of anxiety yesterday when we first came up here because, I'm feeling a bit of uncertainty for the future. I don't necessarily know what's coming next or what the future is going to hold. But I'm trying to take things one day at a time and focus on what I can do today. I've been trying to do some chores and make some content. I recorded some footage for a vlog that I'll hopefully edit later today or tomorrow, and then that'll be coming out later this week. But yeah, I've been trying to remember to stay present, stay focused. It wasn't really hitting me on the drive up until I got here that, oh yeah, life could be different. I could be up here instead of down in Ontario, and how would life be different then, or how would things change? I don't know. I've kind of been feeling like I don't necessarily know what to do with myself right now. And I've been trying to work at making content and to getting more viewers and more activity on my channel and my content. But even that in itself it's an interesting grind, or trying to treat it as a job, Especially since I'm not making money from it yet, not from the YouTube anyways. And that is kind of my goal for the future. I really need to, I guess I need to have more acceptance for where I'm at and understanding that it takes time to grow these things and it's not going to happen overnight. I was kind of talking to my mom about this morning in terms of I don't necessarily want it to happen quickly or overnight, but I'm also kind of up against a deadline in terms of being able to make money from it or being able to pay my bills and being self-sufficient, really. I would rather that came sooner than later, but of course, can't force anything, and I feel like life has a way of holding back some of the things that we could want the most in life. Like, I've really wanted a car since I was old enough to drive, and I started driving my parents' car. It takes a lot of money to upkeep, not only the insurance, but the gas and maintenance of the vehicle, and I realized that. But I guess because I was wanting it so much and constantly thinking about, when am I going to get a car? It hasn't happened yet, and I have to have acceptance for that, right? I think that's like a lot of stuff in life, though, that we really can't force anything or we really can't push too hard because it really doesn't get us anywhere. I'm trying to enjoy the process of living and making the content, but not stressing out too much about not making money yet. And I feel like it's an interesting dichotomy to try and hold that balance of enjoying the process while also kind of having that fire under my ass to keep making content and to make money from it. And who knows, maybe in the future I'll start daily vlogging or making more vlog centered content, but I'd also like to have a bit more going on in my life on the daily to do that. And I don't know, maybe it's not a matter of thinking that I need to have more to do in my life, but how can I kind of record and show what I am doing in my life on a daily, because I do try to either do chores, stay active, or work on my art or different content, music, whatever it is. And I'm sure that I could make content from that, but it's all a balance and a game of kind of how can I turn my life and living into a monetizable opportunity, I guess. And then again, having the balance of not trying to force anything, just kind of living, existing, and trying to get paid for it from making content. I think it is a possibility for the future, especially now that our society is becoming more technologically focused and tech-oriented. I don't know, I'm kind of excited to see where technology goes from here, especially now that Microsoft has announced their quantum computing chip and how that's going to affect computers in the future, because I'm sure our computers and our technology is about to get exponentially better or more powerful. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to affect our society as well, right? And it's going to be super interesting to see how business is advanced, not only with these quantum computing chips, but then with more AI and I guess more computer learning or algorithmic learning rather than solely human interaction or humans using computers without them having their own level of kind of sentience or consciousness, you know? Because I think we're at a bit of a crossroads here where, you know, technology is advancing at such a rate, it feels like society is kind of lagging behind now. And since it's only getting better and more advanced, it's only going to become more apparent how much more advanced technology is than society and just the average person. And I'm sure that at some level is also going to influence the people getting chips or implants and just how we interact with technology as a whole, you know? I think it's going to be super interesting to see how that advances, especially over the next 5 to 10 years, and hopefully we can learn to harness it for the better, for the greater good of all humanity, rather than just the company owners, the business owners, the shareholders of the companies, or whoever it is, but hopefully it can help everyone, right? And that's kind of what I talk about in my World Without Money video, and maybe I should do another one in the future, because I think that would be a super interesting conversation to have in terms of how our world's going to advance, but can we focus less on capitalism, only focusing on monetary value of stuff, and more focus on community values, and really, for lack of a better word, quote-unquote communist values, because I feel like those systems, similarly to socialism, fundamentally work a lot better, but it's the same problems that we have in our modern capitalist society with greed, oligarchs, fascism, all these problems that seem to plague all systems. And now in relation, we're also seeing the effects of late-stage capitalism. So it's kind of a snowball that has been rolling for a while, and we're kind of getting to a point of no return, in my opinion. But that's why I'd like to focus on the more positive aspects of it, and, you know, can we have this conversation of a future more similar to Star Trek or utopian society or civilization using technology, not going back to the Stone Age, right? I'm kind of getting a little sidetracked from the reason I wanted to make this video, which was kind of narrating the trip or the reason for coming up here or the footage that I had for what would have been the first vlog. But I think it's pretty relevant because of, you know, the types of conversations I have with my mom or my parents where we do talk about society and different systems of government, because I did grow up with my great-grandfather who was in the Second World War, and my grandma who was into politics, and now my dad works for the government. So through the past few generations, I've kind of been involved with this without even realizing it, to the point where now my brain is kind of wired for that, and I almost didn't even realize, right? But I like it because my mom and I are on the same page in terms of, we both lean more to the liberal side of things, letting people have the liberty to choose what they do with their life and not be told what to do too much. But that being said, also implementing help from the government, which in turn means more employees of the government, more jobs, so a bigger government. The inverse to conservatism, which aims to conserve traditional values and tries to keep the system the same and argues that there should be less government overreach, which, I can kind of see both sides, but since we are advancing at such a rate, I don't think there really is ever a chance to go back. I think that's kind of a fallacy or a kind of a false narrative or reality to be able to go back to how things were, or to have a system that doesn't change or that doesn't advance or adapt to new advancements with technology or society. Whereas I feel like libertarianism or liberalism kind of aims more for that advancement of society and civilization for the better with the future in mind, but that's just my own opinion and point of view. But that in itself was kind of one of the reasons that Julia and I kind of have a bit of a disconnect. Not necessarily fully disconnected because not a full disconnect because we kind of look at the world from a similar point of view. But she's not as political as I am. And I'm sure that was to do with how I was raised and my family growing up. But I feel like it's also a level of kind of trying to understand everybody in different points of view and how we can be more accepting of different points of view. But we have to have these conversations with nuance and with candor. If we can't have calm, collected conversations about nuanced topics, how are we truly going to advance? But yeah, I guess we have to see what the future holds and keep our fingers crossed that we can advance to a more open and accepting society using technology for the betterment of civilization or humanity as a whole, rather than a tool to continue to oppress people, right? But yeah, I've been talking for a while and my throat's starting to get a bit sore, so I think I'll leave this episode here for now. But if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and let me know what you think of it. Let me know what you think of the background as well. And I'll try to have another video up in the next few days, hopefully the first vlog of the first full day up here in Quebec. But then I'm sure I'll have some podcast episodes dropping as well, and then maybe even some new music. I'm thinking of dropping a new EP at the end of this month or the start of April, and I wanted to put it up on all platforms, but I realized there are a few different reasons I can't put it up on DistroKid or all platforms. So unfortunately, it's going to be a SoundCloud exclusive, but then my next project should be on all platforms, and I'm trying to work on getting more music that I can put on all platforms. It mostly has to do with the producer and the beats, and because I don't have the money to buy beats, I have to find producers that are alright with letting me use the beats for free for now, as long as I give them promotion and I pay them back in the future, which I think is totally fair, and I want to get to a point with my content that I am able to pay the producers what their beats are worth, and to be able to pay other artists to collaborate, to either collaborate or to commission some work from them, and to be able to pay them what their work is worth. Because I think that's truly how the community should be for artists and people who want to buy art. But sometimes it's hard to find the right avenue to do it, or sometimes you just don't have enough funds like me. But like I said, I hope to make money in the future from my content, and I'm going to keep trying to post stuff consistently to keep the traction going and hopefully grow the audience. I forget if I already mentioned it in this episode or not, but we did hit 40 subscribers, so thank you to everybody who subscribed. Thank you to everybody in the future who's going to subscribe. I really appreciate it. It means a ton. But yeah, like I said before, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe, and I hope to have more content coming out soon for you. So keep your eyes open for it. But like I say in all my videos, I'll leave it here for now. I love you, stay safe, good luck, and take it easy.